Hey guys, I am home alone for the entire day and I am loving every second of it. I am not going to lie. I do need a little bit of quiet time sometimes, and I think that's why I end up staying up so late at night so often. But anyways, Mike is gone today doing some family stuff and I am here, and I just thought I would check in and say hi. So if you're joining this on the replay, that is what I'm doing today. So if you have any questions, I am here. I see a lot of our Patreon members and subscribers that are here because they got a few extra seconds of knowing I was jumping online. So I'm seeing you guys all pop on. But mostly I was just calling you. I was calling my dear friends here to say hi. But I am going to be working today on making some gingerbread recipes that I'm trying to make more diabetic friendly. So this is the first year that I am diabetic through the holidays, and I'm trying to make some of our still special treats and all of the things, and trying to manage my blood sugars. So I'm going to be working on that today. Somebody said that they just found me because of the Cast podcast. That's so amazing. I'm glad you're here. But so after we get off of here, I thought before I started working on the gingerbread, I would just pop on here and say hi. But anyways, I normally don't film from this angle because I'm like hanging over the cabinet here, but I wanted to show you my cabinet. So I moved all the stuff out of this cabinet for the holidays. Can I hold this up? And I just wanted to talk a second. This is not normally the stuff I talk about, but how special these are. So these were actually my grandma's. I have a whole set of them. They're my grandma's, and she passed away when I was 2 years old. And so they've just been really special to me my whole life. And my mom had a cookie jar that matched this, and which I've been trying to get from her for years. But anyways, my daughter had found a cookie jar a couple years ago, and so it looks just like the ones that my grandma had, and so now it's kind of became this thing that I've started collecting them. So these are at least 50 years old. I have no idea how old they were before I was born, but I'm sure. Well, I'm 46, so I'm sure that they're at least 50 years old. And then over the years, other people have given me other little mugs, and I just think they're so funny. And I have like little tiny espresso ones. So, and then there's another pitcher way up there, like a water pitcher, juice or whatever, eggnog, whatever. But anyways, I just wanted to show you something that meant something to me. That they were my grandma's, and we've carried on that tradition. And then I have one that I actually use more often than not, and it's this great big one. But anyways, so that is why I was awkwardly like filming hanging over the counter there. So this is me. So I do have some pomegranates that I got at Costco. They are humongous. I feel like they're almost as big as my head. We're going to be putting up a video probably tomorrow of how I cut these. I know some people are like intimidated buying them, not knowing how to eat them. So we are going to be putting up a video of that probably tomorrow or Monday. We'll see when it goes up. It'll be going up soon. But if I have room in the refrigerator, I will keep them in the refrigerator, and we don't always keep them in the refrigerator. So as I'm showing off things for my grandma, that little tree in the very back there is for my other grandma. So the green one, she painted it also like over 20 years ago. So it's just kind of fun. We have one grandma's still alive, and like raring to go, and all the things on my husband's side of the family. But it's neat that I have so many memories in my home of my grandmas that have passed on. But anyways, you might see some meat there behind me on the counter. I don't normally keep them there. They should have been out of shot, honestly, because people are going to comment on it. But I just pulled those up from the freezer. They're only going to sit there for a few minutes. I just wanted to make sure when I was putting them into the refrigerator that I put them in something so they didn't drip on produce. So they are totally solid, frozen, and will be going into the refrigerator. They won't be sitting out there on the counter. And, you know, I'm going to get comments about it. So we'll just move it over here so you don't see it. But, anyways, I do make sure that when I put meat in the refrigerator that it's in like a glass container that doesn't drip. And then that way it doesn't drip on a lower level that has produce on it, you know, food safety, all the things. So anyways, those are solid frozen. So I'm here to answer any kind of produce questions. I just cut some cucumbers and I was going to grab those real quick out of the fridge. Actually, I can turn you around and show you the fridge. Let's see if I can do that here. Here. You're getting a whole little whoop-de-woo. Sorry about that. I didn't have anything planned. I was just jumping on. So anyways, you want the fridge? This is what's in my fridge today. Can you see? There you go. So this is actually some cobbler from the other day that I had made. And I'm gonna, there we go. If I move this, then I can make sure that doesn't drop. But anyways, this is some cobbler that I made the other day that was diabetic friendly. It's the same recipe that I used. Yeah, somebody noticed where I live because of anyways, it's the same recipe that's on the blog that I used for the peach and blueberry cobbler. So I had frozen berries that I used in that, and so I made blackberry cobbler the other day that was diabetic friendly, which is great. So I have spinach in here. I have spinach that had the longer stems this way, and then I have some that I put in a bag. And then this is cauliflower. I just let cauliflower just kind of lay in the drawer like this after I wash it. And there's some ginger down there too. And this drawer, I have some lemons and avocados. I've been debating whether or not to put those pomegranates in here. But I have a whole, I can't remember how many pounds, a whole bunch of oranges that are coming as soon as they're harvested from California. So a lot of those will be going into the fridge too, so they last even longer. And then I have lettuce here in this big glass container. The lettuce will stay fresh for a month like this. There's celery, and then these carrots are actually from November 5th. So they weren't from this last shopping trip, they were from the shopping trip before. It even says November 5th on it. I had bought extra so I could make stock. So listen, November 5th. What's today? December 10th? I'm just saying. That's like over a month old for carrots. I buy them in sticks, or I buy them whole and then I cut them in sticks because I don't like those little bullet carrots. That's what I call them, the baby carrots. Those are soaked in chlorine, and that's why they turn gray. I'd rather just get organic ones and chop them up, and they last for a month. I did put a bunch of these in the freezer because I'm going to be using them for stock when I make stock. But I need like a whole 2 days to make stock because I am going to not freeze it. I'm going to can it afterwards. So I need to make sure that I have a full 2 days free. So I have the carcasses of my turkeys in the freezer all ready to go when I do make stock, but I'm probably going to wait for January, which us homesteaders, we call that Canuary. So we do so many canning projects in January. Here is an artichoke. So artichokes, broccoli, asparagus, I store like this in filtered water, and I make sure that the ends touch the water. And then every week or so, I will trim off the ends so the vascular system of the plant keeps adding more water, soaking it up and keeping it fresh. So just think of like roses. So I store broccoli, artichokes, and asparagus this way. Well, and my spinach if it was longer like this. I did do my kale this time like it. Normally, honestly, I would just store this like lettuce in the glass container. I did this mostly for a picture. If you want to be honest, I don't normally keep it up like this. Kale is another one that's super great because we eat it frozen, like from frozen so much. Like I just put it in soups, that I will just cut the, oh, that got broken because of the shelf, but it's totally fresh. I'll just cut the rim off, the stem, and then chop it up, and then I'll put that into the freezer, and then I can use it anytime. So anyways, so this one is in a jar this time, but normally that would be in a container. And then this parsley here, there's only a few pieces left of it, but it's like 6 weeks old. So again, the ends need to be trimmed, and then I would put it in new water about once every week. But this is 6 weeks old, so it's still, it's getting a little sadder looking, but it's totally fresh. 6 weeks old, longer. October 24th. How long ago? It's December 10th. Like, okay, somebody said defreezing them, make them soggy when defrosted. So if I was going to freeze them, I would be throwing it into a recipe, so it doesn't matter. But let me see here. I have some right here. Here, I'm just going to close this for a second. It won't beep as much. So I do that the same thing with my spinach. Here, let's see if I can. I don't want to drop it everywhere. See, the spinach looks like totally like crunchy, and like not in a bad way crunchy, but can you see that? There we go. It's like a weird angle for me. But anyways, I will put the spinach after I wash and dry it. I put it in a silicone bag like this. And then whatever I don't use fresh for that 2 weeks, then I make sure to put it into the freezer before I go on like the third week grocery shopping trip. Sorry, there's so many questions coming up. I kind of call this the freezer, the smoothie drawer. So I have like frozen different items all ready to go, and they're here. Like the raspberries are perfect. I freeze these on a sheet before I put them in the bag, and then they're not all one big piece, so I can grab out just a handful and put them in smoothies or whatever I'm doing. So, and then these are actually frozen pomegranates, so you can freeze the pomegranate seeds like this also. So, anyways, whew, that's cold. So give me a second, and I will jump back in here. So I have some peppers up here, and then we kind of call this the salad basket. So whenever I cut a pepper, I cut it all the way and I put it in glass, and it'll stay fresh for about another week. And then I cut up this cucumber today. So if you cut up the cucumber, then you slice it. If you keep the skins on, they will last around 7 to 10 days. If you take the skins off, it only lasts 5 to 7 days. So you get a couple extra days when you leave the skin on. And then this is actually pineapple that I canned, and it's in there. And there's some Brussels sprouts, and I have more in here. Those are just the extra ones that didn't fit in the big jar. Strawberries, of course, because I have to have strawberries everywhere in my life. So there's strawberries. And then, yes, I do keep cherry tomatoes in the refrigerator, whole tomatoes, like in the summertime when I'm getting them. I don't honestly ever buy them in the wintertime because they just don't taste the same. But cherry tomatoes I do keep in the refrigerator. They will stay fresh for like a month like this. So for a long time, I was the only one in the house that would eat cherry tomatoes. So I had to learn how to keep them fresh longer, so I didn't throw them away. Mike now eats them. But cranberries. So these were purchased on November 5th when I went grocery shopping. Totally fresh. I'm probably going to end up getting some more still because I make cranberry juice and make it shelf stable. So if I can find it on sale, sometimes after the holidays, then I will get more of them. But when I looked the other day, they were still like $2.99. But if I can find them for like $1 a bag or 50 cents a bag, like I grab a bunch, and they can go straight in the freezer too. What else do I have? Parsley. Oh, back there. Sorry, that's just gonna be. Okay, these are mushrooms. So the tried and true best way ever to keep mushrooms is to put them in a brown paper bag and put them in your refrigerator. I like to see my food. So the second best way is to put them in a jar with the paper towel. Now this is one of the only items that I do change out this paper towel when it starts getting damp. So these are like, when did I go grocery shopping? It's been over a week since I went grocery shopping, but normally around 3 weeks. Oh, somebody's asking a really good question. I'm going to answer that in just a second. Let me just do this so I can close this real quick. So these are grapes. It was kind of funny, just when the news was here Wednesday, I had a tiny bit of grapes that was left from the last time I went to Costco, which was October 24th, and they were just amazed that I still had grapes left that were fresh on December 5th from October 24th. So grapes, when you wash them my way and store them like this, they will last normally around 40 days. So it was kind of funny because I'm always like, oh, don't eat those. I need those to show somebody or whatever. So there's the big jar of strawberries. And then I had canned some pickles a couple months ago. Actually, these aren't canned. They're just water. They're not even water bath. They're just fridge pickles. Sorry. Normally I make them so they're shelf stable. So, and then up here, I do have a pear that's been floating around for a while. And there's one apple. I had a whole case of apples. But if you keep apples in the refrigerator, they're going to last like all year long. So I've just been kind of holding that one off just to show you guys. So I'm going to close this up and then look for questions. Oh, and then the pomegranate. I guess that's the pomegranate that I have been eating. I just cut it into wedges and put it into glass, and then I can grab like a little wedge at a time, which is really diabetic friendly for me. I like slowly picking them off. It's like a slow snack for me. So I keep them on the wedges and I do it that way. And then blueberries will last 6 to 8 weeks, you guys. 6 to 8 weeks for blueberries. So strawberries normally last 2 to 3 weeks, 3 weeks. Raspberries are 2 to 3 weeks. Blueberries are 6 to 8 weeks, and then grapes are around 40 days. So, okay, now I have all of my kitchen stuff laying here. I'm going to scroll back, so give me a second. Does keeping them for this long affect their nutritional value? I know broccoli loses nutrition very quickly once harvested, so I'm wondering if it's the same for other vegetables. So a lot of people don't realize that the things that you're buying in the store are actually normally weeks or months old. So, just because you're getting it at the store does not mean that it's a fresh item. So, like your apples are harvested in the fall and they've been in cold storage for a whole year. So if you're buying them any other time besides, the fall harvest season, likely you're actually eating a year-old apple that they're trying to push through before the new ones come through. But apples are being harvested, in the fall, and you're eating them all year long, and you never think about, oh, this apple was actually a year old. It hasn't lost any of its nutritional value. Also, like oranges are just being harvested right now. I'm waiting for harvest season to start for them to be delivered. You will be eating those oranges all year long too. So oranges, are another thing. If you're getting pomegranates, those are in season right now. So some of those things that you eat all year long, you don't even think about the fact that they were actually a year old when you bought them. So, different ways that you cook them and prepare them are going to change their values. But if you're trying to keep them, healthy and fresh and, still soaking water, like broccoli is one that I keep in the water and I keep it alive and fresh. It's not going to lose its value so much. And, in our household, we teach our family that we eat from the fridge. Like, we don't really have any snacks in the house at all. So it's kind of a joke that I get like one bag of potato chips once a month. That's kind of our only snack kind of thing, because we're an allergy family, and a lot of things that have multiple items of ingredients in it we just can't eat. So anyways, if you're eating whole foods, you're eating a better diet that's just better for you. So somebody said the 6-week-old parsley has floored me. I'm so glad someone sent me a link to your channel. Yeah, parsley and cilantro, definitely always 6 weeks old. Actually, I think I have, oh, it's right here. This is thyme and sage that I bought November 5th, so it's a month old. So I kind of normally treat these like woody herbs, but this is from November 5th. So, and there's thyme in there also, totally fresh. So the big thing is I wash it when I bring it home, which kills off the mold spores, E. coli, listeria, and other harmful pathogens. I let it dry all the way, and then I store it. For those, I store it in glass with paper towels, and then the parsley I store with the, sorry, that's more than 6 weeks old. That's what's on my brain. So October 24th to December, what is it today, the 10th? Like, how long is that? That's more than 6 weeks old. So is that technically 8 weeks old? Somebody look on a calendar. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to fluff my hair because it's bugging me. I used to coach cheer, and the girls used to call, well, they call me Coachy Mama. But they were like, a coach. So anyways, it's just one of those days. So, let's see. Somebody asked about stasher bags. Those are on my Amazon storefront on thecrosslegacy.com. Somebody said my kids must be depressed with no junk food. That's actually really interesting. So one, that's just, yeah, that's an interesting kind of thing. So we teach our littles to eat a rainbow every single day, and that in our household that fruits and vegetables, snacks come from the fridge. And so instead of a boring piece of something that was processed, like they get a beautiful array of fruits and vegetables or things with dips or different snacks that are healthy and wholesome, and no, they are not depressed. And I'm actually a foster mom, and so to have other kids that have came into our house and have only known how to eat junk food and different things to come into my house and all of a sudden see a beautiful fridge with fresh produce, like it's something that they've never experienced before, and it's a really amazing thing to be able to teach another child. So no, I would absolutely not say that the kids in my household are depressed because we don't have junk food. So somebody asked if I'm a farmer. I am kinda and kinda not. So I grew up on a 200-acre farm, and so I am really homesteady, but I live in a neighborhood. So I'm kind of a little bit of both. I call myself an urban homesteader. We do have chickens in our backyard that, you know, fences up to all of our neighbors. We have a garden for fresh produce during the summertime, but it's not enough to can. But I do preserve food and can it by buying things from farmers markets and other local farmers. So yes and no, like all the things, but I'm definitely a homesteader and a farmer at heart, and I hope someday we will be back on a farm again. Do I store everything in glass? Mostly I had got rid of all the plastic in my kitchen about 5 years ago, and that is when I realized that the things that I've always washed to kill off the harmful pathogens, all of a sudden they were lasting 3 to 4 weeks. Switching it out of the plastic that I was storing it in before and switching it to glass. So we don't have any plastic in our kitchen. It is all glass. When I first started, like the very first time I put strawberries in a jar and the different ones, I used pickle jars. So you don't have to go out and invest a lot of money. If your family eats pickles, save those jars, use spaghetti jars. Ask people like on a Buy Nothing group or in your community if they have extra glass jars. You'll be surprised how many people you know, like grandmas that used to can, that have a whole bunch of jars in a pantry that they, you know, are happy to give to somebody else that are willing to learn how to preserve food. So how do I keep grape tomatoes? These, I wash and dry them with the vinegar wash, and then I actually don't put a paper towel in these. So yeah, I was noticing that one day that most of the things that are in my salad basket, I don't keep with the paper towels. So mushrooms and berries for sure. I always have a paper towel. There's some blueberries, have a paper towel, but yeah, the tomatoes, they don't really release water. Oh, the lettuce and greens have a paper towel too. In our book, we have a chart in the back of the book, which is available on thecrosslegacy.com. If you're in another country, it's also available on Amazon. And it has a chart at the very back that lists, like, I stored this in water, and this with a paper towel, and this in glass, and this like flowers. And so I kind of go down the list of everything. And there's 2 books. The first one has the top 25 produce items I get asked about. And then the second book is the next 25 items. And those mostly focus on summer items, or summer here for us, depending where you live in the world. So do I refrigerate my tomatoes? I only refrigerate my cherry tomatoes. So I don't refrigerate whole tomatoes. I use the last of the ones from the garden, and I don't buy them in the winter time, so I only buy them in the summertime. Somebody asked if I was vegetarian. Nope, I have a whole bunch of meat sitting out over here. We do have one person in our family when she is home that's a vegetarian. So for a long time, I learned how to make, 3/4 of our meal for everybody else and 1/4 of our meals for her. So a lot of the things I do are to be able to separate, to make everybody in the household happy. And we have a lot of allergies in the house, so everything I do is allergy friendly. So if you bought our book, somebody's saying go buy my book. Yeah, go buy my book. I also have a grocery course on thecrosslegacy.com where I teach families how to use a grocery budget similar to mine. We spend $135 per person per month on groceries, and we have food security in our home. So we're eating mostly organic, and I batch cook, and I teach you how to have fresh produce and things in your pantry that you can actually make meals, and give you meal tips and all those kind of things in the Grocery Solution course, which is there's a link in my bio, but it's on thecrosslegacy.com. So I don't remember when it ends, but there was a sale on it. So depending on when you're watching this, it might not still be on sale, but the most it will is $150. So anyways, I have this special thing that whenever I see like multiple numbers on a clock, so it was just 3:33 on my clock just a second ago, and then I just couldn't concentrate because I just wanted to do this, but I take a deep breath and I just take in this moment of what is happening in my life, and I just block out all of the negativity or the spammers or whatever else. And I started doing that on February 22nd, 2022, and the 2222, and it's just amazing over the course of a day how many times I glance at the clock and I happen to see it being 3:33 or 11:11 or whatever, and it just brings me calm. I just take a deep breath, and so anyways, I couldn't focus because I was noticing that on the clock a second ago. Somebody said that they bought both of my books. She actually, I know who this is, she actually put it in a binder last night and gave us a really great little video clip of doing that. I haven't done that yet for that book. I do have the Homesteading Anywhere book in a binder. So they're talking about the grocery course in here. Oh, it is still on sale. See, I like when people know what's going on. Sometimes I don't know what day the sales end. So anyways, on the grocery course, the code is holiday15 to get $15 off the course. So if you go to the Cross Legacy, there's a course link. Type in holiday15 and the course is on sale. So we have 5 modules up there talking about inventory, doing an inventory in your house, how to rotate the food that's in your house, what your budget should be, and how I go about fixing that, what you could be buying at the grocery store that might help fill in some of those pantry items, which should be in your pantry. We did a holiday guide to help you through the holidays, and then the last module that just went up this week has been talking about different things that I didn't talk about in the books to kind of fill in some of those gaps on produce items. And then the next one we are starting to film on Monday is going to be about buying meat, which I will grab now. But I buy meat from the butcher. Like, I buy it from the farmer. I buy it once a year. But talking about how you buy it and get larger quantities in your refrigerator, that kind of stuff, or freezer. So those need to go in the refrigerator, but to get larger quantities in your freezer, and that way you can make all sorts of meals all year long. And so anyways, we have batch cooking recipes, all the things. And we're continuing to add more to the course. It's a virtual course. You can take it anytime at your own pace. You can go back and listen to different videos or print off the PDFs and those kind of things. So it is definitely worth the investment to do that. So speaking of which, so our monthly grocery budget is $135 per person. So we have a varying family size with our family, with family members coming in and out and all of those kind of things. So most of the time right now, it's just my husband and I, but it does vary over the course of the months and different things. But saying that, it is now December. Today is December 10th, so that's normally when my husband puts in the grocery budget for the month into my grocery account. So I have one account that just has our grocery money in it for the year. So he hasn't even done that yet, or he might have done it today. I don't know. But anyways, when I went grocery shopping the other day, he hadn't even done it for December yet. And I've used all of the grocery money that I needed for the whole year without him even putting in December's grocery budget, and got all the things that he needed for holiday meals and all of those kind of things. And I still have $300 left in that account. So I spent $200-ish per month, and I still have $300 left over. So it really does work. You really can have food security in your house. It really doesn't have to cost a lot of money. So it's just a whole different way of thinking, to stay out of the stores and to actually have food security in your home and not be running into the grocery store, all of the time to get something as simple as an avocado that ends up costing you $100. So even last night, I wear a diabetic monitor on my arm, and I had to go pick it up at Walmart, and I was like, we're not getting a cart, we're not getting anything, like, we are going in the store, we're getting my prescription, and we are leaving Walmart during the holidays without spending one extra cent besides what I need to spend at the pharmacy. Like, there was these adorable placemats that I didn't even have a table for that I almost bought, but I didn't buy anything because I didn't need to. And it does leave me to free up some money, so I can keep that money in a savings account. I can roll it over to next year, or I can buy something super special that I would normally not buy, and that is Cougar Gold cheese. Which it comes in a can, and it's special from our alumni college. And, that's like a special treat during the holidays to get a can of Cougar Gold cheese. And I can buy a ridiculously expensive can of cheese and know that I haven't broke our grocery budget at all. And it's a special holiday thing. So, I have a lot to teach you. So somebody asked about how many children I have. Right now, it's just Mike and I at home. We are empty nesters right now. We have college-age kids, and we are foster parents. So we should talk more on how you budget and why the second account. That I'll talk about in the course. Anyways, I talk a lot about that. In the course. Yeah, it was good self-control. It was really good self-control last night, let me tell you. Those placemats were adorable. I don't even have a table. But And there was other things we were like, oh, we could do that. We could do this. That's something else we don't do. We only buy gifts. We do one special holiday, something for another family, or families, for the holidays. Like, we try to fill a need. But we don't do a lot of extra, like, little giving to, extra family members or whatever. We try to use all of that extra money that we would use and really do something that could change another family's lives or life, or just make a big difference. And so that varies every year on how much we're able to do and what we do. But I don't buy like presents for friends. I don't buy presents for random extra family members. That's hard to say, and not trying to be mean, but or you know what I mean. So in our house we do 3 presents. We do a want, a need, and a hobby present. So we make sure that our kids get a want, a need, and a hobby, and we have Christmas stockings, and we do a family game. But we make sure that Christmas stays in a budget, and we don't stress out about it. And there were years when Mike and I just did everything we possibly could to make sure that our kids had Christmas, and we didn't exchange anything. And I would never, ever, ever suggest to do that again. I don't care if it's a $2 present. Like, find a $2 present and make sure that mom and dad gets to open it. If you're a single parent, like, reach out to another single parent, or give your kids $2 and tell them to go into the dollar store. Whatever it is. Like, every person, no matter what it is, I hope that you have something under the tree or in a stocking or those kind of things. But there's so much spending that happens that's just guilt-ridden in December. Like, I've owned a housekeeping company for 15 years. There were so many times when people would then cancel their, housekeeping in January, or especially in February, which was actually kind of interesting, because February was when those December bills were finally starting to come through, and they were like, oh, we can't afford it now because we've spent too much here. Like, we really try to keep it under budget, keep it, what we can afford, and Christmas feels so much better. So, we used to, I talk about this a lot, but our very first date 29 years ago was to the zoo lights. And for 25 of those years, we went every single year back to the zoo lights. And during COVID, it was closed, and, all the things. And it was something that really made us realize that, that night ended up costing us like $200 to go every year. And we would go out for dinner, and we would do this, and we'd go, and it was cold, and I was achy, and all of the things. And it really just wasn't that magical fun thing anymore. It was just something we had to do because we've always done it. And next year we will go for sure, because it'll be our 30th anniversary of our first date. And that's, really special. We started dating when I was in high school, but, this year we can skip it. It's not a big deal, and it's not in the budget. And, just because I'm a big social media influencer doesn't mean that our budget is something that is not stressing me out today too. So it is nice to know that I have grocery money and a budget, and it is sitting there. But, everybody worries about money. Sometimes their numbers are just bigger than others. So I just hope that I'm able to give you guys a little bit of encouragement that your worries about money does not have to be over groceries. And the average family in the United States is throwing away 40% of what they buy. The average family in the world is throwing away 61% of the food that they're buying. So 61% of the food that you're buying at this ridiculously high price of what groceries is right now is going into the trash. And when people are thinking about fixing their budget problems for their groceries, they're not even thinking about what they're doing with the items once they bring them home. Or they bring them home and have good intentions with them, and then just order takeout instead, because then they're too tired to want to make the meals. So I really try to teach how to batch cook. I have a I have an invisible illness, so I have good days and harder days. I try never to say bad days, but I have days that are harder. So on days that are harder, it's just nice to be able to pull something out of the freezer and know that I have a home-cooked healthy meal for my family. So anyways, that was a lot heart to heart that I didn't plan on going into. So anyways, I hope that you guys are having a great weekend, and that you take some inspiration from me, whether or not it is to keep your produce fresh a little bit longer or to clean out your freezer and to use some of those items that are in there. But know that you can have food security in your home, no matter what your grocery budget is, and as long as you start using those things that you are buying. So anyways, thanks for hanging out today. I tried to answer every single legit question that gets sent to me. So I don't answer spammers. So if you're truly trying to learn how to save money on groceries, if you're truly wanting to feed your family better, those kind of questions, I spend over 4 hours every single day trying to connect with other moms and women that are really trying to feed their families better. And so anyways, I just hope no matter where you are that you have a great holiday, and we will be talking to you soon. But I need to make some gingerbread cookies before my husband gets home. So have a good day.